I think it just shows that we have many challenges and many local realities to deal with to achieving water for food security. But as the young lady just said at in the question time there, how do we make agriculture and farming cool? How do we get people into these sectors who can actually manage all the variables and things we've been discussing in the last couple of days, and all these elements that really can make agriculture work and steward our water resources. I have just was asked to say a few highlights about the conference, but I think that panel wrapped up many of them. I think on observations, I've been asking people just what the takeaways are. I still think we need to get some feedback on what the outcomes are from the sessions, but certainly I'm getting lots of ideas. One of my colleagues just observed that this year there's a real, the energies and the partnerships are really, some of them are really coming together. We saw a lot of discussions, disagreements and different perspectives, but certainly a lot of energy around the key areas we're trying to explore. And as I say, we need to tease out some of those outcomes and see what really comes out over the next few months. I think we've had an incredible lineup of plenaries, panel speakers, poster competitions, student displays, and so forth, the sponsors and exhibitors, and of course all of you who took out your time to come here and join us and really participate in this. One of the big complaints I got was around these concurrent sessions and how many people wanted to be in multiple concurrent sessions. And I tried being in 2 yesterday at the same time, and that really didn't work so well. But I will remind you that they're all online, they're all available. So we won't send out the exam questions till tomorrow night, so you've got a chance to look at all of those. This is a university after all. So I did get complaints from all sides, and so I think we certainly were hitting somewhere in the middle about the issues and getting most of the right people at the table. I think my final measure for what we achieved is when Dean Eisenhower learned something in a conference. I mean, after 45 years in the career, you were actually getting somewhere. But I think it's also really pleasing to see a farmer or a view from the field closing session. No disrespect to Jerry and Dean, but to see 3 young people really enthusiastic about the sector, the challenges in water and food, and really getting a lot of inspiration from us all meeting here today. So I won't go into much more detail on that. We will have a final report on the conference. We will report that, and we'll certainly reach out to you for your feedback. So what I would like to do is I'd like to invite the President of the University of Nebraska, President Hank Bounds, our board chair, and our board member, Mogens Bai, chairman of the Robert B. Daugherty Foundation, to join me at the podium. I think on the first day I talked about the political will, the leadership, and these 2 gentlemen have certainly been a big part of that process. Mogens has been very much involved in this since the very beginning, and President Bounds has joined 4 years ago. Unfortunately, we're going to lose President Bounds from the president's role at least, but he has agreed to stay involved with the board as long as we can encourage him to come back and work with us. He has been a tireless supporter. Quite frankly, for myself coming on board, I joined, and it's actually Ronnie Green, the Chancellor this morning, who was the Vice Chancellor at the time, who appointed me, and 1 week later he got promoted, and my bosses changed twice in a year. So it was President Bounds who was certainly very helpful in ensuring that transition. As I come in and replaced Roberta Lenton, we had a very smooth transition going into my leadership of the Institute, and very much comes down to both President Bounds and Mogens Bai. He will be leaving later this summer. He has been very much a champion, and on behalf of the Board of Directors, our staff, faculty, fellows, and friends, it's my very great honor to present Hank with the Water for Food Award in recognition of his leadership and advocacy for our work. Mogens, can you?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I would very much like to thank the Robert B. Daugherty Foundation and the University of Nebraska for their generous support, for supporting our mission and helping us with events like this, very much convening and bringing you all together. I'd also like to thank our valued partners, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Bayer, and other important and appreciative sponsors. As you'd expect, a conference at this level requires significant investment for all logistics involved. Our sponsors share our mission to enhance water and food security and help us keep registrations manageable. I would like to recognize the board of directors, President Bounds, Moens Bai, James Milligan, who was actually the past president, so our leadership stays engaged and really helps us direct the Institute. Howard W. Buffett, and Mike Johans, former Nebraska senator who recently stepped down from the board. He was a real guiding hand. Of course, we will look at how to replace someone like Mike Johans. We also have a very strong international advisory panel. You saw Letitia Obeng in that last panel. We got Colin, Marcos, Bashir, Uma, and Martin, Letitia, and Rorik Paulman, and Pasquale. They've been very active and very involved during this week, and I'm sure you managed to meet many of them. Hugely important in terms of organizing this conference. We have key faculty who really got involved. There's many others who actually participated in the panel. Our staff, it's a relatively small institute, but very high energy, lots of people who really are very good at picking up and covering many of the bases. Many of them were very active during the conference, and you get a chance to meet them all. And then the volunteers, the vendors, that really, again, trying to put on an event like this. We don't do it every day, and really being able to pull those together and have an event like this where many things ran very well. There was some occasional hiccups, but again, the team covered those and picked up the slack where necessary. And that's in terms of the thank yous. I think that with that, I would just like to close. Finally, I do want to recognize actually with Molly, who is directing the conference. She's got a great team, but it's also through Mary Steers. And all the credits, please pass them to Molly. All the issues, please let me know. Thank you all. I very much appreciate your participation. Again, the energy has been fantastic. I look forward to following up and really pushing towards where we can have outcomes and how we can work in partnerships around some of these issues, but also encourage you all to work together on some of these issues going forward. So thank you, and safe travels home. I will now pass over. We now transition from the conference and we hand over to the next phase, which will be the Huerman lecture. But I think we have a small break of 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, we'll reconvene here for the Huerman lecture. And I'm really looking forward to that lecture. Thank you.